Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Premier Sim Gaming Leagues. Welcome to round number 1 of the PSGL GT League, season number 2 here. Last time out, we had the Gr.4 cars. This time, it is going to be the Gr.4 cars, and we are starting at the full Kyoto Yamagawa circuit, and we're doing it in reverse for the round here at Japan. My name is Luke Etheridge. I'll be covering the action for tonight and through all 9 rounds of the season, and you can see the calendar up there on the screen right now for you. We've got the Yamagawa reverse Kyoto driving park tonight, and next week we're at one of the newest tracks, I believe actually the newest track on the Gran Turismo game. We are at Watkins Glen International. Dragon Trail Gardens a week after that, then a bit of a break before Lago Maggiore West, Red Bull Ring, Deep Forest Raceway, another break week before our final 3 rounds of the season. We go back to Japan for the Autopolis Short Circuit. Brands Hatch is the penultimate round, and ending at a classic of Gran Turismo at the Trail Mountain Circuit. So, as we mentioned, the cars are a bit different to last time. The rules are very similar in terms of, you know, the percentage of races that you've got, the percentage of laps you've got to do on the same type of tyre. But for now, let's take a quick look at the drivers that will be going through for this season. So here are the 15 full-time drivers that we'll be seeing this season, and you can see some names that stick out there straight away from what we're racing in some of the higher tiers. Last year we did see LJM Stevo actually finished in the top 10 last season in the top tier, just missing out on a podium in the final race at Japan, so it'll be intriguing to see how he does. You've got a reigning champion in the GT2 tier. I mean, a dominant tier really last year from Solid Ninja Snake. Managed to take 3 victories, only missed out on the podium at round number 2 in the US. 25 points he won that championship by, so he's definitely going to be someone who is up there towards the top. Obviously we saw B9, Lee the Reaper, all these great drivers there as well, and we've got some new names. There's also some new names in the top tier as well, so we're waiting to see how they do later on. Once we get those top tier drivers coming in, we'll keep an eye on how they do. They're going to be streaming round about now as well. It is going to be Webbo Red 5 who is taking us through the action there. So let us know your predictions for tonight. Let us know who you think is going to end up winning this. We are just getting ready for the qualifying session, and I think we'll very quickly use this opportunity to give you a bit of an idea of how the night is going to work. So, as you can see on your screen right there, we 8 minutes of qualifying session and 3 choice of tyres, but you must start the race on the tyre that you use to set your fastest lap. So that is going to be an intriguing one there to try and see how things are going to work out with that one. And then it is going to be a 33 lap race, full start check on the grid, obviously using the normal setup, 7 times tyre wear, 4 times fuel, which is also going to be the case through the qualifying session as well. So we're going to see some quite heavy tyre wear in qualifying. You have to do at least 8 laps on the set of the hard tyres, and you have to do at least 8 laps on a set of the medium tyres as well. And trust me, from my practice yesterday, 8 laps on a set of mediums isn't... It's easy, but they won't be feeling too good at the end of that. The hards are probably going to be the preferable tyre for tonight. So I think we could definitely see some very interesting strategy choices from all of the drivers tonight. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to end up taking the victory. Anyone that you can see pulling off a bit of a surprise. Do you prefer this track in the normal layout or in the reverse layout that we're seeing here? As you can see, their main overtaking opportunity. You've got a heavy braking zone in towards turn number 1. Turn number 4 can always be a good place to get the moves done. 6, 7 and 8, quite a tricky complex, especially once your tyres have started to wear out a bit more. Then you've sort of got this high-speed end towards the lap, so should certainly, I believe, be a very interesting race indeed, and one that I'm definitely looking forward to covering for you all today. So, again, let me know who you think is going to take the victory. Shouldn't be too long before we are getting this 8-minute qualifying session underway. I think one of the drivers, unfortunately, has had to reconnect and get themselves back into the session. So we'll just go through some of the cars that we are going to see tonight. We have got quite a mixture of cars. We've got the Porsche Cayman GT cars. We've got Renault Megane, proving to be quite a popular one, including that it's being used by last year's champion as well, Solid Ninja Snake. He's also using that Renault Megane, so that'll be one to keep an eye on as the evening goes on. See how he does in that car. Got Javi there in a Renault as well. We've also got Toyota GTs. So a wild mix of cars. A few in the Jaguars as well. And we've got a couple of Ferraris. So they tend to be the ones that we are seeing tonight. Ferrari, Jaguar, Toyota and Renault. And we'll be keeping an eye. We'll be having plenty of discussion about what our favourite liveries are indeed. In fact, we might as well... Well, I think we're just waiting for qualifying to get underway. We'll just have a quick little flick through some of these liveries on screen there. So you can see B9 going for his classic Margarita one there. Got Solid Ninja Snake in the Metal Gear Lego. Not sure if that's going to be the official team name, but it's what we're going in for tonight. Steve-O in the Jaguar alongside Jamie in a very... I do like the NASCAR-esque colour scheme on the back there. I almost remember if what you saw... I saw someone mention it reminded of Commodore 64s back in the day. It almost reminds me of what you used to see on VHS tapes as well. Classic red Ferrari from Sander Jane. Classic yellow and black Megane from Diogo Mora. And then you can see a very nice black and gold Porsche from Wedgie Bow. My personal favourite, if I'm being honest, is Capella Rose. We're not gonna see too much from that camera angle, but he's definitely my favourite livery at the moment. Just for... It's a bit strange seeing a Ferrari in the Ford colours, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, but it's definitely one of my favourite. It's definitely one of my favourite liveries. Did enjoy it on the Ford GT3 cars back in the day. Be interesting to see what sort of performances we get from Kepler though with that livery tonight. So, a reminder of how things are going to work again. We'll have this 8-minute qualifying session and then the 33 lap race. The point system for anyone who is new to the GT leagues here at PSGL, the point system is identical to the one that is used in the F1 leagues. So, 16 points for a win, 12 for second, 10 for third, 8 for fourth place, and then 6 down to 1 for fifth down to 10th place. And I can tell you that I'm sure we're all going to be great to hear. Qualifying is now underway, folks. So, enough of me rabbiting on. Here we are then, sunrise conditions here at the Kyoto Driving Park. So that's going to be something for everyone to watch out for. I feel like I need to say it instantly, but I do apologise for the jumpiness we are going to be seeing of some of the cars. We do have a fix for that, but unfortunately it involves someone buying me the PlayStation 4 version of the game, so I don't think we'll be having a fix for that anytime soon. So you can see Brownski, he's heading out there on the circuit, trying to see what kind of performances he can put in this season. Interesting to see how a lot of these drivers are going to do. It is a longer season than last time out, and Brownski, our highest ranked driver in terms of last season's performance here in Tier 2. Quite surprising to see him down in Tier 2 after picking up multiple podiums in the top tier last time out. One at Jose Carlos Pachi, Interlagos, one at the Circuit of Catalonia as well. Actually managed to finish second in that race last season behind Distinct Pachi, so yeah, Brownski could be one to watch out for at the end of the day. It seems Kepler didn't have any problems in the practice session that they were running earlier on, but just seems to have had a few issues now. So hopefully those issues will be sorted out, and we will be able to get him, back in the lobby. But I do know with what this game used to be like, and I believe it's the same way, that might well cause a few issues as the night goes on. So that is going to be something that we're gonna watch out on. Yes, built to win, I think, for this Lego car. And we'll take a nice little bonnet come on board shot of the Lego car then, as Brownski takes us around this circuit. Heavy braking in towards turn number 1. You can see the ABS being used there. That is the only assist the drivers are allowed to use in this league. Now, coming out of that turn number 1 with a nice little radius sign on the exit, in towards this little chicane at 2 and 3. Don't want to be too greedy on the entrance. You want to make sure that you get some sort of decent exit coming through there. And then another possible overtaking opportunity at turn number 4 if you're feeling brave enough, but this is really where you need to get a good exit. And this sort of starts the high medium speed part of the lap now. You've got through the main twisty bit with one exception as you come down the hill in towards through turn number 5, through the kink at 6, want to hang it over to the right hand side of the track to make sure you get a good run through turns number 7 and 8 at that chicane. Crucially getting up the hill, using every little power that you've got from these Gr.4 cars, heading over to the left hand side for the long right hander here, making sure that you keep things nice and steady as you're now making your way in towards turn number 10, heading towards the S's, a part of the track where you'll be expecting the drivers, if they're wise, to be staying single file. Otherwise, they might be having all sorts of problems in this race, but nice and single file at the moment. Obviously in this qualifying session, drivers not wanting to hold anyone up. Just a bit wild there from Brownski, so needs to be careful of that one. I'm sure in all their practice they've been testing the track limits. And then the long right-hander to finish the lap. Once your tyres start getting worn, especially on the mediums and softs, they're going to feel like an absolute nightmare at the end of the race. But it is a set of hard tyres what Brownski has decided to do this lap on, and it is a 1:43.633. Instantly beaten by solid Ninja Snake, and instantly beaten. And we did miss this, and I do apologise. I haven't seen a silver Mercedes doing too well recently, to be honest, in the 2019 Mercedes F1 type car colours of Mick Mac, but that was a very similar performance to what we were seeing from the first game. Mick Mac then 1:41.524 in this session for now. We'll see what some of the other drivers are doing. Lee the Reaper just coming towards the end of his lap at the moment. Very nice, very subtle livery. Almost reminds me of what we saw in Formula 1 with the Coopers way back in the day. In the 60s, a very dark take on the British racing green there from Lee the Reaper. We'll see what sort of times he's going to set as he makes his way around that final corner. Again, watch out for that runoff area on the left-hand side. And we'll wait and see what Lee can do as he heads towards the line, checking his gears. Coming up now, you can see nearly 200 kilometres an hour on the speedo. 1:44 for Lee the Reaper, then his fastest time of the session for now. We'll just make our way down the rest of the order. Everyone has managed to set a lap time. Not everyone at the moment has set a fully clean lap time, and I think that includes SFDC in the Toyota GT. Bit surprised to see drivers using the Toyota, but he doesn't seem to be doing too bad at the moment. 10 seconds up on his personal best. Not a bad way to be setting a lap. We've only got about 5 more minutes left of this qualifying session, folks, so things are going to go flying by thick and fast. We'll hopefully get to see how close everyone is in the races, because we have got a bit of a field split at the moment. DC just trying to get a bit of a slipstream off Diogo Morva at the moment. There is Diogo in the classic yellow and black Renault. Definitely a favourite of mine. Quite a simplistic livery, but definitely a very nice one to see. We'll see what Diogo can do around the final corner at the moment. Renault Megane's looking good. Second and third at the moment for Stevo and LJM. Well, Stevo and I believe it was Solid Ninja Snake, who's just been knocked down by Sander Jane. Towards the line goes Diego Morva. Gets himself up into 4th place. Look how close things are, though. 3rd to 5th place, separated by 88 thousandths of a second at the moment, as someone's had a bit of a... Someone's setting some wheel spinning alight at the moment, and that is Wedgiebo. Again, a very... I am a big fan of these gold and black liveries that we're seeing at the moment. It just seems to be a bit of a classic colour. Wedgiebo 7th in the championship last year. Bang average was his day, but he was pretty much in the middle of the championship. Got the majority of his points. Well, say the majority. He got 13 of his points in 3 races. It took him only 1 race to get another 12 of those points. Managed a fantastic job at the Nürburgring last year, I believe, to get 2nd place there. So that's something to watch out for. See how he does around here in the Porsche. Just look at the moment, though. He has got that half a second penalty, so this lap will not count. We'll wait to see if we're getting any improvements at the moment. It looks like Diogo has backed off on this lap. What can LJM Stevo do? Fastest Jaguar at the moment. Does bode well for the season that we have got this different mix of cars up towards the top of the order, which is always something that is delightful to see. Wait to see what Stevo can do as he heads towards the line. Is this going to be good enough to challenge for fastest? It looks like it's improvement. Still quite a way off what we were seeing from Mick Mac Mock, though. That time from Mick Mac is going to take some beating. 1:41.524 at the moment is putting him fastest by 1.2 seconds. Sander Jane not able to improve on that one. Obviously because of the tyre wear in qualifying, that is going to play a bit of a part. Diogo Morva, we know he's not seeing an improvement. I'm finding this interesting with the different tyres not everyone has gone for now. Everyone seems to have gone for quite a different sets of tyres in this session. We've got a few, like we saw earlier on. Diogo's gone for a set of the medium tyres. It looks like Mick Mac, that probably does explain quite a lot of that pace advantage. He has also gone for a set of the medium tyres, and they'll start on a fresh set of tyres, but whatever compound they've set their fastest lap on, they are then committed to that through the race. Bloody Line in the pit lane at the moment. SFDC just finding it a bit hard. Still that 1:54 fastest lap time, so must have had an invalidation on his 1:46, which is the reason why that did not count at the moment. But if that is true, DC's starting to put something together. Car number 12, he's got 12 in his name. He's currently showing on our screens as being in 12th place at the moment. So this isn't looking too bad from SFDC. Following round on and on board shot throughout the rest of the lap. Diogo getting well out of the way, through the car through the chicane. It is very easy to get things wrong at that part of the circuit. You trust me, I've done it myself. It's easy just to go a bit too hard for the first part, sling yourself all over the curb, and then just cause issues at the end of the lap. You will lose plenty of time on the run down towards 9. Well, I should say the run up towards turn 9 and 10. Quite a lot of gradients at this circuit. Diogo, SFDC 12 again, pushing the limits of the track at the moment. Do appear to be having a few lobby issues at the moment, folks. Who'd have seen that coming on Gran Turismo as Jamie just goes for a bit of a spin in front of DC. Thankfully, that doesn't seem to have put the Toyota driver off at the moment. Just making his way around the long final corner here. Gets it towards that curve. This looks like it's going to be by far the best lap that we've seen from DC so far on that set of the medium tyres. Can he challenge for pole? Gets himself up towards 5th place, and that middle ground is putting in some very good times at the moment. So yeah, this is fantastic at the moment from DC, getting himself up in towards 5th place. I believe qualifying is effectively meant to be over, but for reasons beyond our control, qualifying is deciding that it doesn't want to end. So if anyone's not done a lot of race practice, now would be a good time to get some in. I'd suggest I'd take advantage of the situation and get yourself some practice. There are a few more drivers heading into the pit lane, as it looks like we are going to have a lobby restart. So I think we are going to see everyone making their way back towards the pit lane. But can just confirm it was Mick on pole position then for that one. Mick 1:41.524. Very good time even on that set of mediums. We saw him up there with everyone else, so we'll see how this first few laps of the race goes for him, Mick. I get a funny feeling it's going to be one of those where you see someone sprint away at the start, and then who knows what could happen afterwards. Because after 9 or 10 laps, you are going to start struggling on those mediums. We may see drivers coming for a two-stop strategy around here. So do not be surprised if we do see the odd driver coming in for a two-stop strategy. It could definitely work out to be the fastest way at the moment. We are just waiting for confirmation on what the update is going to be with the session. I don't believe we will be running qualifying again. I believe we will just be carrying on as normal, but when I have a full update, I will obviously share it with you guys. Apologies for this for these issues. Hey, at least it's a good job we didn't wait 9 or 10 years for this game. Oh, and well, just had it confirmed actually. We will be having a qualifying session again, but it will effectively be one lap qualifying for everyone, and that is because we're not allowed to set the grid, of course. So we are effectively going to have a one-shot qualifying session here, folks, to really spice things up. And while we're talking about that, what are people's favourite formats of qualifying? We see a wide variety across the motor racing world. Obviously, Formula 1 has its thing with the 3 separate sessions down to the top 10 at the end. Formula E used to have the 4 groups and then a Super Pole session at the end. Has now gone out to some knockout shootout. IndyCar changes where you're at, but obviously at the Indy 500 you get the Fast 9. MotoGP, Q1 and Q2, GT Racing, all with their own idiosyncrasies of what qualifying formats they have. So let us know in the chat which ones you prefer. Personally, I am a fan of one-shot qualifying. If I'm being honest, I don't mind a good little one-shot. Maybe not for the entire session, but always had a bit of spice. Always adds a bit of interest up towards the end of the session. I can tell you now that the lobby is being set up once again. So while we're waiting for this to happen, we will quickly go over, a bit more of that information around the track. 3.05 miles, 4.91 kilometers, 15 corners, as you can see on your screen right there at the moment. A longest straight of just under half a mile. Talking about 710, 720 meters for the longest straight at the moment. And only an elevation difference. It says it's 0.02 miles. I imagine that's between the start and the finish. We do see quite a lot of elevation change around this circuit, as I'm sure you're all aware. It is going to be cloudy and warm weather, so we're not expecting, of course, any rain for this race, and we will see the sun will start to come out a bit more as the session goes on. Quite a heavy tyre weight rate, quite a heavy fuel consumption rate, and of course, I mean, perhaps more importantly, something that we haven't mentioned, the bop and the limited tuning for all of the drivers, so can't really take that advantage on their tuning setups at the moment, which is, again, it's something I'm a bit of a fan of, to be honest. I do feel like, compared to other games, tuning on Gran Turismo is not something that is as big as we see on other games, so we'll have to wait to see how things go at the moment. If you are just joining us, wondering what is happening, we did have a first qualifying session, but unfortunately that had to be aborted due to an issue, so we've had to restart a lobby, and the drivers are now just slowly starting to get ready to head out there on the circuit. I believe we have nearly got everyone in the session once more, as you are unable, for whatever reason, you are unable to set the grid, which would have been a nice feature to have if anyone from Polyphony Digital's listing. GT Sport had it. Why can't we add it to GT7 round about now? So we'll keep an eye on that one and see how things are going for this time. But a reminder, if you do want to see something a bit more than just the slideshow on my screen going over again, as we are waiting for qualifying to get back underway again, and as I just say that, cars are now starting to make their way back out of the pit lane. If you do want to see a bit more of the action, of course you can watch all the races back on YouTube, and there is also right now GT Tier 1 taking live with some drivers that we have from the World Series, so make sure to check some of the best of the best. It is the only place you are going to see them outside of the World Series, so really looking forward to seeing how this season goes. Bit of a longer season, hopefully by race number 9 the game's not doing all of this stuff, because that'll be ideal for everyone. Understandably, everyone is a bit keen to get out there on the circuit, and it is Mick McMark who's going to lead the pack away. Diogo going out there, one of the later cars. I think we've just got Kingston and Jamie starting to make their way out of the pit lane as well. 5 minutes to get in qualifying, 5 minutes to get the lap underway. I think we are going to follow Mick around in this, the only driver to be using a Mercedes at the moment. Everyone else has gone for Renault Megane, quite a common car, and I can see why. Out of all the Gr.4 cars, it is the one I kind of enjoy the most. It does seem to be quite nice. Seems to suit the sort of hatchback nature, certainly compared to what it's like in some of the other classes. SLS, which we are seeing here from Mick, I prefer when we see the AMGs more in the Group 3 cars, in my opinion. But again, you know, it's all up to the own driver's style. See what suits them best. It wouldn't do us all to end up liking the same thing. But it is going to be time then for Mick to get us around then a lap of this circuit. Did a fantastic time, 1:41. I think it was earlier in the first session. We'll see if he can match that at the moment in this one, as he crosses the start-finish line, heading now in towards turn number 1. Tight left-hander, third gear through there. Be careful on the throttle. Don't want to be wheel spinning on the exit of that corner. Swing it back over towards the left-hand side of the track as you get ready for turns number 2 and 3, as we're going to go with the in-cab car at the moment to see what this circuit is like. Headed in now towards the other hairpin of turn number 4. Nice and steady there from Mick. One of the slowest corners on the circuit, certainly the one where I think you will see plenty of moves down the inside. Lap number 1 could be very tasty at that part of the track. Downhill through turn number 5 into turn number 6, which is just really the entry for this fast chicane for 7 and 8. Nicely done from Mick, just running a bit wide on the exit. Definitely not ideal for the traction on the exit of that corner. Turn number 9, not really something you have to worry about in these cars, just a little king. Make sure you stay as far over to the left-hand side as possible though, as you now flick the car in towards the right-hander at turn number 10. Bit of throttle modulation on the entry. Get away with it on the exit for now. Obviously, as they wear the tyres more in the race, that will be one to watch out for. The tyres front lefts especially around this layout do take a massive hammering. Now coming down through the S's, nice and calm here at the moment. Want to straight line these as much as you possibly can. Through into the final corner again, another long right-hander that really stresses out the tyres. And you can see drivers go all the way around the outside here if they're feeling brave enough. Pit entry on the right-hand side. No one will be heading towards the pit so for this qualifying session. And Mick does it in a 1:42.268. A bit slower than what we saw him do earlier on. See who else we've got out on a lap at the moment. Oh, Lee's not going to be sitting in a lap times whatever, has he? He's caused a bit of damage to that Jaguar. Just a bit too optimistic coming through the S's by the looks of things and has made a mistake. So Lee could well find himself starting at the back of the grid. What's it going to be for Wedgie then as he now comes up towards the finish line? 1:43.185 on a set of the hard tyres as well. Solid Ninja Snake, second place at the moment. He's done his time on a set of hards. We'll see who else is heading towards the end of the lap. These final two are a bit out of sync with anyone. Jamie doing a lot better than the other Jaguar that we saw earlier on. So we'll watch and see what Jamie can do as he now heads towards the finish line in his Jaguar. Trying to get up to the top speed. Does it look like we're going to be challenging the top of the order? No, that is not the case for him in the end. Gets himself in towards 8th place. And I think once Kingston's done his lap, we may well be heading into the race session, folks. So, Dodge Viper of Kingston. He normally races in our T3/reserve tier. Anyone from that tier can get promoted to this one. Kingston comes across the line, puts himself in 10th place. Just keeping it clean. Good enough to put themselves into that 10th position at the moment. So, it is going to be, as far as I'm aware, as far as we don't see any more improvements on these final runs, Mick looking very good at the moment. Looking pretty handy. That Mercedes working well around this circuit. Certainly though, have to keep an eye on how his tyre wear is going and have to keep an eye on some of his exit of the corners because I'm not sure that's something you want to be doing too often. Going on the grass and already 0.4 of a second slower. Some of that will have been down, well, I imagine quite a large chunk of that will have been down to that mistake at the final corner. Ninja Snake finding a slight improvement though on the hard tyres. So you can already see after a couple of laps on these tyres, medium to hards, we're talking, well, I was going to say medium to hards, we're talking almost identical times. Diogo Moura there, he actually does find some time on his second lap on the mediums, keeps it nice and clean, and the Portuguese man will be very happy we've had these qualifying restarts. He puts himself into second place for now, so Ninja Snake down into third. Steve-O not finding any improvements. SFDC has got himself into 5th. As you can see in the chat there's a few people not the happiest about the number of laps that is going on. But I can't blame him. If the qualifying session is still going, I'd be out there trying to set as many laps at the moment. Jamie comes across the line, didn't find any improvement at the moment, as I think we are again, unfortunately, having a few issues. So not quite sure what's causing this. As you can see, we're just going to try and explore what could be doing it. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get this. Starting glitch sorted nice and soon. That is the end of qualifying then. That's the end of the second attempt of qualifying. Whether we're going to get a third attempt of qualifying, keep yourself posted here. Really, yeah. I think we've all heard various people's frustrations. We've all heard people's various frustrations with other racing games out there. iRacing had the grass riding. Assetto Corsa has their constant DDoSing that seems to be attacking lots of leagues. F1 has its problems, but they all seem workable. They all seem to have a workaround, and just current state, Gran Turismo definitely doesn't have a workaround at the moment. And this moment, Gran Turismo is I mean, I don't know if there's another word apart from broken. I'd like, it just doesn't work properly. And we've all paid about £50 or £60 for this game. So, yeah, do feel a tiny bit shafted. But as you can see, everyone is in the pit lane at the moment. all the lovely liveries that we get to see. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're all enjoying watching our stream at the moment. I don't know whether you do want to fancy off going on to Tier 1, because Tier 1's all working right now. Tier 1 is working absolutely fine at this moment in time, so don't know why that is the issue, but yeah. Here we are. Spa 2021 being mentioned in the driver's chat. I think we all know how well that one went. Hopefully we get, I mean, we've had more running at the moment than Spa 2021. Hopefully, at some point, we get some racing as well. 33 lap race is what is expected to happen. All the drivers have been told to cancel their entry and re-enter, as this has been known to fix the issues before. So the old effective Control-Alt-Delete at the moment. Favourite car on Gran Turismo? Ooh, that is a question. If we're going for favourite car on Gran Turismo, or like, I'd say my favourite Gr.4 car. I think I've made it pretty clear. I do like the Megane Trophy as a Gr.4 car. If we're going for, we go up the class, I'm quite a fan of the Mercedes. If we're going for the favourite car on the entire of Gran Turismo, I've got to go for the Super Formula, and that is because that's the car that I won my first ever league racing in. So quite a fan of the Super Formula. Don't mind the Porsche. I've managed to win races in a Porsche before, but that was more of a miracle rather than anything. As it looks like we are going to be getting on the way shortly, soon with the race, folks. So I hope you're all looking forward to this one. Hope it has all been worth the wait for everyone, because my God, we have certainly had to wait. So here we are, out there on circuit. As we wait for the lights to come on, and we wait to get this race on the way. We have got 5 lights, and we're off and running then with the first round of PSGL, and we'll see what the starts are like, as we can actually get a nice camera angle here. That'd be absolutely brilliant from the game at the moment. But it is Big Mac Mark in the lead, as you can see, quite close coming through turn number 1 there. Wedgiebo and SFDC putting side by side for now, and we'll see whether this works, so we can actually get some. There we go, we've got some proper camera angles once again, everyone. Best laid plans and all of that. But it is Mick in the lead of this race on that medium tyres. Ninja Snake in second place, SFDC in 4-4 now. Wedgiebo seeming to recover from that issue early on, as the Toyota and the Ferrari ahead of him are battling quite hard side by side. Oh, and Spinner in the background. Spinner off in the background. That is Jamie, who's had a big hit in the wall. And also the Ultimatum driver. We had some support from Ultimatum X Esports in the chat earlier. It has not gone well for UXS Yarvel at the moment. He's had a bit of an issue out on the first lap of this race. But it is an incredibly long race. It is a long time. So definitely not over until the fat lady sings, I think is going to be the answer of how tonight goes. The leader is just streaking away at this moment in time. And DC12's got some decent pace all of a sudden in that Toyota. He's not doing too bad at the moment. We'll go on board with the Spaniard as he makes his way down the S's for the first time. Thankfully, the drivers won't be seeing as much bouncing around as we are doing on the spectator cameras. I certainly hope not, otherwise you might be a bit scared to overtake everyone. But DC having a pretty good first lap of the race. Sander Jane trying to get back involved in that battle, and might have just got a nose of the Ferrari alongside there for a brief while, but not able to do anything with that one for now. Always going to be on the tighter line. Always going to be that tiny bit harder. We might see one down the inside. No, in towards turn number 1 from the Dutchman. Thinks better on it this time. DC just about having that one covered off on this occasion. B9 in 7th for the moment, just finding himself dropping a bit further back behind Wedgiebo. Everyone finding himself dropping behind our race leader at the moment. Mick has got a 2.1 second lead in that Mercedes. How much are they cooking that medium tyre? A reminder, 33 lap race. You have to use the mediums for 8 laps. You have to use the hards for at least 8 laps, but they do not have to be in the same stint. So if you fancy using a set of mediums over multiple stints, you are more than welcome to, if you want to split that up. But I imagine most of them We'll want to do about 8 or 9 laps on the mediums, and then we'll see how long they take the hards. Will we see mediums towards the end? Will we see drivers go on the set of the soft tyres? Because we know they are certainly a very good tyre, as Janne has actually managed to get himself back ahead of DC12. So the two red cars, quite different marks, but proving that they're very good at the moment. Ferrari versus the Toyota. The Ferrari just about coming out on top for now, but we'll wait to see how that goes over the full race distance, as he's starting to come under some pretty sizable pressure right now from that Toyota. Just loses out a bit in the S's section, does DC12. As Jarne, it sounds like he's drifting, but I can promise you he's not really drifting that much through the corners. I'm being told it is as bad as for drivers as it is for me, so yeah, it doesn't really bode too well at the moment, does it? Hopefully that's something that future updates can fix on this game. Who knows, maybe even time for the next round. I think it has been a few weeks before we've had an update, and really I'm looking forward to see what the drivers can do around Watkins Glen at the moment. But it is Mick in the lead of this race. Solid Ninja Steak second, Yavi in third place. We're keeping an eye on the battle for now between Jarne and DC12 in fourth and fifth, although it looks like Jarne has started to get a bit more of a run on things, and it looks like he's starting to put the men all ahead of him of Javi under a bit of pressure. And in fact, there you go, down the inside goes Sander Jane. We said, you know, that would be where you'd start to see a few moves in towards turn number 4, and we were proven right. After dropping down to 5th earlier on, the Ferrari now starting to make some moves, and unfortunately the sole Ferrari of tonight, as Keplion has had those issues with, as we've all had tonight, has had some issues with the game, so Keplion has unfortunately been able to join the session, and you can just see a view there of how big this gap is. Although Javi has got a bit of a run in towards the long turn number 10. Can he get close enough? Can he do anything at this moment in time? Just has to stay behind. There are also battles further down the field though. Brownski and Stevo almost on their own at the moment in 7th and 8th. The field is splitting up a bit. There's that delightful Lego colour scheme. Like, really, I'm a fan of the variability of the colours and deliveries we get on this game. If that's a tiny mistake from Lee the Reaper, that allows Diogo Mora to come through, and it's also going to allow Kingston almost then. Kingston getting very close to the back of Lee on that occasion, just about at the last minute, I think, deciding to pull out of that one, because it would not have gone too well through the S section. We mentioned this during the qualifying. It is pretty much one where you want to go through single file, and Yarvel and Jamie obviously carrying on, and oh! As we mentioned him, Yarvel's just got a bit too much on the grass coming through the final corner. You could see how you've got the blue runoff tarmac in the background. I was pointing for my own benefit rather than anyone else's. Just changes to the grass, so maybe just caught Yarvel out there in the McGann. He just ended up pointing in the wrong direction. His teammates doing a good job up towards the front of the field, but Yarvel not having the best of times at the moment. That gap staying consistent at the front at around 4 seconds, and you can already see we're only on to lap number 4 of the race. You can already see 3.5 laps through if you're picky. Mick's front left tyre not looking the greatest, and he'll be wanting to take that, I imagine, quite a few more laps. Still doing okay at the moment, not losing as much in sector 1, which is more where you rely on the pure mechanical grip of the rear tyres with the slow corners. It is these two long right-handers that we get just through that one at turn number 10, and then the final corner. That is where you'll really lose a lot of time on the tyres, but at the moment he's still doing a fairly decent job, and we're seeing a train starting to catch up a bit more here. Wedgiebo in that Porsche. Every time I see his name, no offence to Wedgiebo, I always remember on The Simpsons way back when Bart invented the name Quidgiebo for all of his letters in Scrabble. Maybe that's the inspiration. Maybe if he gets in the podium interview, I might be able to ask some of these drivers the inspirations for their names. But Wedgie driving around in 8th place at the moment, on the back of Brownski and on the back of Stevo. And, oh yeah, Diogo there having a massive run. That's more what you expect to see from a McGann coming through the final corner. You expect them to just understeer off the circuit, and that has given B9 a free position there. So the other Porsche up into 9th place, and Lee, thinking about it in towards turn number 1 as well, says, well, you've still not got any momentum, sir. I'm going to try and take advantage of this one. And that is Lee the Reaper up into the top 10. Obviously had that issue in qualifying. Not doing too bad whatsoever at the moment. So that is Lee up in towards the top 10. And we'll see whether Diogo can recover from that one. We'll see whether Kingston can start putting some pressure on these drivers as well. Seems to have dropped a bit further back on this lap. And just for reference, him and Diogo are on a set of the medium tyres. They're battling cards on the hard. So we'll expect their pace to drop off, and we'll expect it to become a bit nicer for those that were using the medium tyres, which is also why you're starting to see DC just drop a wheel onto the grass a bit more. He's now, despite setting his fastest lap of the race so far, he's now a second behind Javi. 1.7 back towards Stevo. Keep that gap up towards the leader and our reigning champion in this tier. Let's not forget, we've had a few drivers like Brownsky, like LJ and Stevo drop down from the top tier. Our reigning champion putting on a very solid, pardon the pun, do promise that was intentional, he's putting on a pretty good performance at the moment. Solid Ninja Stake in that second position. And a reminder, it is 16 points for the win, 12 for second, 10 for third, 8 for fourth, and then 6 down to 1 for the bottom, well, for fifth down to 10th place. There's plenty of cars there. Some of this going off might be just for general jumpiness. Some of it is definitely cars taking very interesting lines through the final few corners, Yavi especially. Surprised he's getting caught out with understeer at the moment, because the hard tyres just work well around this circuit. If you do want to stretch it out to a one stop, it is very possible. They are generally a very compliant, very nice race tyre, so surprised we've not seen a bit more of that from Yavi. Just catching up to the back of the cars in front, because the Megane, like I said, seems like a well-balanced car at the moment, but the Mercedes really does seem like the car to watch out for. But already the gap is coming down. Got up to 4.5 seconds not so long ago. Mick is now only 3.9 seconds in the lead of this race. Seems to be able to carry a bit more speed in the chicane. The rear of the car still working well, but already 1 second off his personal best is not ideal at all. He's not having fun at the moment, is he? He is not having a good day as Yarwell. He's had a massive hit with the wall. And yeah, I was about to say, I do wonder whether we'll be seeing Yarwell retire. And there we go. Our first retirement of the session. Yarwell calls it a day. That turn number 1 on lap number 6. And as I'm sure you're all aware, I'm sure everyone watching is familiar with Gran Turismo. We don't have to really worry about yellow flags, safety cars, VSCs, any of that. They are able to continue all the way on. Mick in the lead of this race then. Hemorrhaging time through some of these corners. He'll want to go on another lap or two. He needs to really go on another lap or two at the moment, and we'll watch what tyres he goes on after the pit stops. We may see drivers think that going for the set of soft tyres, so that's a very interesting arm angle from his driver there. I don't know if anyone noticed that. It seemed like Mick's driver avatar was moving his entire arm when he turns the wheel. I'm sure GT3 cars are quite, well, GT4 cars in this case are quite tough to drive, but wouldn't be expecting them to need that much arm movement. He's just starting to lose all sorts of time, as is Yavi and Stevo. DC's dropped behind Stevo now, so that is one that we have missed. Well, Sandiane is starting to put some pressure on Solid Ninja Stake at the moment. Reigning champion coming under the cosh on lap number 7. We'll follow these two through the chicane, if we can do so without getting dizzy. Climbing up the hill now, the Dutchman in the slipstream of the Brit. Not close enough into turn number 10, and it's not really an overtaking choice if the car in front of you has got a nice clean run. If they've made a slight mistake, you can get a run up the hill, and you normally get it done before you get to the corner. Otherwise, you are just sticking single file and just sticking what you can do. There, as you can see, Sandiane 2 seconds off the lead of the race. Mick has lost all sorts of time. Will we even see Mick coming to the pits on this lap? Just because of how much time he's losing. Is he going to want to get rid of those medium tyres? Because 144 was his previous lap compared to a 143.8 for Solid Ninja Stake. We'll wait and see this time around, but I think we're talking high 145s on this lap all of a sudden from the Mercedes. There we go, 145.4 compared to a 143.4. The champion gaining 2 seconds on that lap purely because of how shoddy the medium tyres are around here. I don't think there's another word for it. They are an absolutely diabolical race tyre. Hope you all enjoyed the slight voice crack as well there, but you can see now Mick is really struggling. They all have to use the mediums. They all have to use the mediums for 8 laps. It is something that everyone has to do. There was debate. Will we see drivers even take multiple stints to get that done? I saw some saying the mediums are good for 9 laps. They're not. They're not on this Mercedes. Those mediums are gone now, and I said, you know, if the driver makes a mistake coming up towards turn number 10, that might be where you can see a move. I think Ninja's going to be all over the Mercedes and ahead long before we even get to that part of the circuit. And there we go. He's trying it in the slipstream now. Our championship leader pulls to the inside line. And this should be one of the more straightforward moves we have seen the reigning champion do. Now it is just a pure engine race. He's got the inside line for turn number 10. And that is Ninja into the lead of this one. Don't be surprised if Yarny gets the move done as well. Probably coming into the final corner. Mick has got nothing to defend with. DC also coming through the same issues now at the moment. Wedgiebo starting to put that Toyota under all sorts of pressure as we go on board with the Porsche. Heads down this fast sweeping S section. I do prefer this part of the track in this layout. I think the rest of it I prefer in the normal layout, in my opinion. And Wedgie, he's not able to make the move here. Needs to be careful because DC is just going to wash out nice and wide. Thank you very much, sir. I will take that place. And that is Wedgie up into 7th. And no surprise, Mick has come into the pits. DC also into the pits as well. So we'll wait and see. Here's one of the things that does at least work on this game. No, the pit mechanics are absolutely beautiful. As DC is coming into the pits. Diogo also in off his set of the medium tyres. It is going to be hards going on, I am sure of it. Bit of fuel coming into the Toyota as well. There we go, hard tyres. And you're not going to get the fuel all the way to the end of the race also. You're not going to get the fuel right towards the end. So that's something else for the drivers to make up with for the 2 stops. If you can get these hard tyres to about lap 25-26 and your fuel load, you might be better. You might well be better on a set of the mediums for the final stint of the race. If you can stretch them further, you might be better on a set of the soft tyres. But things are now, I say things are calming down. Here might be one place where things aren't calming down. Steve-O and Yavi, and that is going to be the inside line for the Jaguar. Nicely done by Steve-O then. Could he get his first podium in any tier here in the PSGL GT Leagues? That is Steve-O up into 3rd place, or is he? Because Yavi really starting to fight hard against the Jaguar. Has to call that one a day there. So that is Yavi now in 4th place. I'm surprised to see him struggling more. You can see just marginally better tyre wear on the Megane at the moment. But we have seen a few mistakes from Yavi. We also saw him use a few mistakes from his teammate, his fellow UXL driver Zerhan. And he has retired from this race. One first retirement. 13 still left in this race. I know it does say 14, but it's counting me as the 14th runner, and I will not get any points if no one finishes this race. I can tell you that one. It'd be nice if they wanted to give me points, but it is not going to happen. We're already nearly a third of the way through this race. Don't think we're any the wiser as to where the destination of the victory is going to go. Let us know in the chat who you think is looking good at the moment. He definitely seems to have better pace than those on the mediums. Well, than everyone else on the hards all of a sudden. Solid Ninja Snake doing a very special job indeed at the moment. He's got the gap up to 2.5 seconds over Sandy Yarny. Steve-O, now that it's clear of Yavi, we'll see whether Steve-O can close up in that Jaguar as well. Yavi in 4th place. Brownski in a bit of a lonely 5th place at the moment. Wedgiebo in 6th. B9 is in 7th place. He's got Lee the Reaper all over the back of him. And there goes Mick McMark, who has gone. Now that is interesting. He's gone for another set of medium tyres, and it looks like he hasn't gone for any fuel on his pit stop either. So he's clearly playing the long. He's clearly going for some pace now, and then surely the wise thing to do has got to be go for a set of hards at your final stint, unless we're seeing him go for a 3-stop strategy. It could well work. Well, it's going for that 3 stops, because he is going to be the fastest driver on the circuit at the moment, as Diogo's having a few traction control issues. Might be slightly better for the tyres having that traction control on. Will definitely not be better for the pace. And as far as I'm aware, drivers weren't allowed to use traction control in this league, so might be something for the stewards to look out after with this one. Mick, there you're just going to see a pure difference, I think, in pace between mediums and a set of hard tyres. Nearly manages nearly manages to hold it all the way around the outside, as we have lost another one. Diogo has retired from this race, and we are down to 13 runners. Mick with a supreme place on the mediums. Mick is up into 8th position. Great job from him. B9 will be his next target. I'm not sure there's a lot that Margarita Porsche is going to be able to do. He might as well stop off from Margarita at some point on this next lap, because the fresh mediums versus freshish hards, there's only really going to be one winner, and you can see already the pace that Mick is starting to show. Can he do the switch back? Can he go all the way around the outside at turn number 4? Bit of a bold move if he's able to make that one work. Yes, he is indeed. All the way around the outside. Beautifully done by Mick. He is up into 7th place, and now he's got some free air, and now we really get to see what he can do. Back towards the front of the race. Gap staying fairly constant at the moment. Solid Ninja Steak and Sandy Yarnay. Gap staying at around about that 2.8 seconds. Just managed to grow it through turn number 10, so I think he's got that car dialed in where he needs it to at the moment. Only at the 3rd waypoint of the race. And a reminder, there is plenty of more PSGL action you can watch towards the week. Tier 1 is on live now with some of the drivers from the GT World Series. And then you've got the PC F1 action coming on tomorrow with Danfield and Jack Canaan taking us through the action on that game. And then F1 action throughout the rest of the week, Thursday, Sunday and Monday, for the various different tiers on the PC and the PlayStation. And must have been a mistake at the end of that lap there that we just missed there from Yarnay. It, like Dragon said, it would be nice if we could go back and see what happened, because he's lost a chunk of time towards the end. I just wonder, doesn't look like his wear's too bad on the front left-hand tyre, but certainly lost plenty of time through turn number 10. Just wonder whether that final turn also caused him to lose plenty of time. No such issues at the first sector, whether he's setting personal bests. But Yarnay's having a bit of an issue at the moment at certain parts of the circuit. So, one to keep an eye on throughout the rest of this session. Whether this is just Ninja Steak putting on a bit of a spurt on his tyres. But you can see, we went from, 145, 144, 143, 145. Suggests a Ferrari has not quite got the consistency that he would want to have at the moment. Is looking like he is on for a personal best lap. Mick's already closed about 2.2 seconds onto the back of Wedgie Bow, and this could well be his fastest lap of the race, and could well be something where he gains himself a nice little bonus point in doing so. So, yeah, I think he'll be a brave man to bet against him at this moment in time. I think you would be a very brave man to bet against Mick, winning this race. He just looks on it at this moment in time. He just looks like he's got everything working for him. It all depends on his pace on the hard tyres, and also how well everyone else is able to make the mediums last. And I suspect this might be the case, if some drivers like Solid are just able to stretch an extra few laps out of the medium tyres and still be relatively quick with them, they might have a big say in the performance of this race. We saw them catching up towards the end. We saw them overtaking towards the end of the stint. Solid made the move work on Mick, and Yarnay was early able to follow through as well. So even though he's clearly got the pace at the moment, it is no real done thing. That is how things are going to end in this one. Well, it could also depend on his traffic management, because he's going to have a lot more overtakes to do if he's making a lot more pit stops. We'll see how some of the other earlier pitters did as well. DC, he's sticking it out there on a set of the hard tyres this time. In Kingston, he's also been in. He has gone for a set of the hards. I believe he did start on, unless I get this, we must have started on a set of mediums. There'd be no point in pitting this early on if he started on a set of hard tyres. So yeah, Kingston must have also been on a set of mediums, and I think has just had a few issues in this race. But he was a reserve. It's a chance to test himself against some faster drivers. Might be even worth saving the replay and just seeing the sort of lines they take and seeing if there is anything you can learn. One thing I'd tell you to learn: don't take as much grass through that part of the circuit there as Yavi was doing. But he seems to have recovered from those earlier issues, some earlier escapades towards the green stuff. And the gap now is 7/10 of a second between himself and Steve-O. Obviously, losing that momentum all the way down the hill and not able to regain it at any point. A bit slower in on the entry. Gets faster on the exit as Steve-O a long way off the circuit there. And this is going to be as straightforward as a move as you like for Yavi. Thank you very much. We are seeing a lot of mistakes through that final corner here. And this time it is Yavi who is able to take advantage of that. The Argentinian driver gets himself up into the podium places. Renault, Ferrari, Renault, the order now at the top as we are getting a green flag there. Haven't seen anything that would have caused a yellow flag. Didn't see any cars dropping out on the circuit, but yes, a green flag being waved there by the marshals, just to remind everyone that we are at full tilt racing. And we're already, I said he's got the pace, but I think we're already starting to see a bit of a downfall of this strategy from Mick. He's catching Wedgie Bow still, but when you consider he's doing 142s not so long ago, lap number 6 of these tyres, he's already into the 144s. Will he be able to get ahead of the Porsche? Will he just find himself getting stuck behind him? Will he find himself losing too much time from some of these slower corners? I think it's worth going for a hard tyre on your second stint and then just trying to take them towards the end. If you do have to pit, then you should have a short enough distance of the race to go on a set of softs. I think there is the other side. As you can see, he's on a quarter of a tank of fuel at the moment. So the fuel consumption is a big factor in how this race is working out and isn't lining up nicely with the tyres. And drivers tend to like to wear their tyres out more than they do like to come into the pits with a half-worn set of tyres, for example, and then come into fuel. It's not something that you see with drivers liking to do, as that's going to give Mick a bit of a hand. That's one way to get out of the way of the car in front of you. Bit of a mistake from Wedgie through the S's. Mick says thank you very much. He's not going to have too many passes easier than that one. Up in towards 6th place. We'll keep an eye again on what his time is as he heads towards the finish line now in that Mercedes. And yeah, 1:44.0 again. So not losing loads on that last lap. In fact, losing 5 thousandths of a second. But still, Mick is starting to... he's not finding it as nice as he was right at the start, is he? Bless him. This isn't going as well he would have wanted, I think, at the moment. Any other moves happening? This could be one to see. Lee the Reaper has got himself ahead of B9 at the moment. So that is Lee up in towards 8th. Will he be able to pull away from the Porsche? Will we see B be able to fight back? Definitely got a bit of exit there. Did bloody 9 through turn number 4. And this is what I love about these type of games compared to F1. This is what I love about your ACCs and your Gran Turismos, for different idiosyncrasies of all the cars, for different circuits where, you know, some are faster than others. Which one's going to be the best around this track? Which one's going to be the best around another one? Obviously, when we're seeing Formula 1, still obviously a very good game to commentate on. You don't get that same sort of feature. Everyone's on the same sort of tyres. Everyone goes for roughly the same sort of strategies. Everyone even goes for roughly the same sort of setups as they are, of course, allowed in that league. In here, drivers are just trying different things. Drivers are going for something a bit different, and it is great to see. It is great to see everyone's just trying out different things, seeing what works best, throwing stuff to the wall, and seeing what sticks in the practice sessions. Always the best way to make things work. And I bet Mick wishes he could do something else to make these medium tyres work. Did get pole position. But we're coming in for a set of hards on this lap. I'm almost certain of it. And those hards should take him towards the end. Shouldn't have to fuel again after this lap. And I think that must have been his choice in the last pit stop. Didn't see him. He came in with about 55% of a fuel tank in. So this percentage makes sense to say he did not fuel. And it was quite a short pit stop that we saw compared to some of the other drivers. I mean, we look at SFDC. It was 3 seconds slower. We look at Kingston. It was about 15 seconds slower. So I can only imagine Kingston made a mistake on that lap and had to get some of the damage fixed. Out towards the front, though. Haven't seen this man for a while because he's just doing a calm job, and he's just doing everything he needs to on the hards at the moment. That is solid ninja stake onto lap number 16. Or chucks his way through turn number 10. And still finding very good lap times. Don't know whether I believe that at the moment, but we're seeing nearly every single lap has been in the 143s. As the fuel comes down, This Renault's just getting faster and faster. The Megane Magnificent in Japan, it seems to be. 4.1 seconds he's now stretched that lead out so briefly ahead of Yarne. Xavi has just dropped himself a bit further back, and there we go. Was a personal best last from Solid Ninja Snake. Only half a second off the best that we saw of anyone else do. As into the pits comes Sandy Yarne with basically no fuel in that Ferrari. Not what you want to be seeing after 16 laps, because it's a 33 lap race. So into the pits comes the Ferrari. Imagine that is going to be a, will it be a set of the mediums or will it be a set of the hard tyres going on that Ferrari, depending on how much fuel he wants to put in this pit stop. If he's just going to splash and dash it, might be worth putting in that set of mediums, but he will have to make another stop for fuel. Well, he'll have to make another stop for tyres, that is certain, and it is mediums on Sanders' car, so he's going to have to make another stop for fuel, and he has set everything up to work like that, and you can see DC has got ahead of him at the moment. That is for Toyota up in towards 9th place. Yarne is going to try and fight this one for all he's worth around this first sector of the lap, but the extra temp just in those tyres for now is going to be to DC's advantage. In approximately 3 or 4 corners time, Yarne should be able to easily streak past and get himself into 9th place. It might even happen on the run down into turn 4. He's got a wheel alongside, tiny bit of contact there. I don't think that was all down to the game doing what the game does. And that is Sandy Yarne taking himself up in towards 9th place at the moment. So, drivers that have still got to pit and still got to run multiple types of tyres. Believe it is only Kingston and SFDC. Basically, I believe it's only our bottom 4 that have done it. That'd be the easiest way to put it. Mick has been into the pit of his set of mediums. Now, those hards and that fuel load will take it towards the end of the race. He's 58 seconds off the lead at the moment, but he's done 2 stops. The leader, Solid Ninja Snake, has not done any. And if I do some quick maths, the leader, Solid Ninja Snake, he's either going to have to be very careful on those medium tyres later on, or he's going to have to make 2 stops, because he won't be able to get to the end of lap number 25. He currently looks as though he's going to be able to do probably lap 22 is when we're going to see Ninja coming into the pits, and then he's going to have 11 laps. But if he does have to do multiple stops, he can go for the softs at the end of the race. So one to watch out for. Steve-O into the pits in that Jaguar at the end of lap 17. This sort of has double medium stint written all over it, and there we go. Mediums into the car for the Jaguar, not a full tank. We'll be seeing him come out again, as that is Jamie, a fellow Jaguar driver. We've not seen too much tonight after his incident early on. He gets himself up into 6th, and Sandy Yarne straight away able to fight through as well. You can see how much pace that Ferrari's got. Now he's got the tyres work. Sandy Yarne is up into 7th place down the inside of Jamie. Ooh, I feel like that one could be going to the stewards. There was not much of a gap there. Certainly, I don't think a big enough gap for a Ferrari to squeeze its nose in. Jamie will not be happy with that one. Minding his own business on the hard tyres. Rather got bullied off the circuit there. Lee the Reaper, he's been into the pits as well at the end of lap 17. So, fresh set of mediums going on to his car. He'll have one more stop to make in this race. He's put a lot of fuel in that Jaguar as well. So, clearly going for a splash and dash at the end. See how many laps these cars get out of the mediums now. This is going to be the feature to watch. And Brownski's still staying in contact with Yavi. He's just keeping that gap at around about 2 seconds. I think we know that these 3 are going to be there or thereabouts on the podium. We know Sandy Yarne and Mick Mark are going to be the other drivers there. In which order, though, I don't think we're really going to know until lap 33. And that's how we want to be that's how we want a motor race, ladies and gentlemen. Surely. Not knowing right until the end who is going to take this checkered flag. Seeing these variations in all the different strategies. It's not often you see drivers that have done 2 stops, and you see others out there that have yet to come into the pits. Just trying to check a few things. Yavi there. Just quickly notice, spot the fuel gauge in the bottom of the screen next to the tyre graphic. That's what it's looking like for Brownski at the moment. That's what it's looking like for Yavi at the moment. So both in identical cars. The Argentine's been burning a bit more fuel though, so that will mean a longer pit stop. That might even dictate an earlier pit stop as well. Will Brownski be able to just stretch an extra lap or 2 out of those tyres? That could be all important at the end of the race. In the lead though, it is Solid Ninja Snake now 8.7 seconds ahead. Still setting times within a 10th or 2 of his fastest lap. I've got to say, the difference between the medium and hards around this circuit, And again, it's something common on this game. It is quite shocking just how much of a difference is. I never remember it before being quite a margin, the gap that you've got beyond, well, between all of the different tyres. Certainly, I don't remember it being in this sort of situation on GT Sport, for example, because the mediums are dreadful. The hards just seem fantastic. Kingston there, I think, is going to almost thought about going into the pits, almost thought of getting out of the way of Ninja, who won't mind a bit of a slipstream down this straight. That gap now gets up towards 9 seconds, and I think that is more Yavi starting to struggle. So we could have a Lego 1-2 at the moment, because Yavi is starting to lose some pace in the Ultimatum X Esports car, and the Lego machine, the Lego Magan of Brownski is still doing very good. A bit slower than his teammate, but you can see he's caught up a whole second on the last lap. Tyres are similar life. I can only think this is Yavi saving a bit of fuel, or just starting to make some mistakes, starting to feel a bit of fatigue as it is going around. I can imagine it's going to be quite warm in Argentina at this moment in time, and of course it'll be a lot earlier on in the day. It's still quite warm around Europe at night time at the moment, but Brownski just putting the pressure on Yavi, heading into the chicane 6 and 7 and 8. Gets a bit of a better exit there, and that might be an opportunity. That might be all the British man needs. Can he climb the hill? And being in the same car, they're not really getting too much of an advantage over each other. So he was definitely quicker through the chicane. Just can't quite get close enough where it really matters at the moment. Although that is wide from the car in front of them. That is wide from the UXS. Man, I apologise for that. Brownski still not able to get close enough where it really matters. So this battle's going on, and he's started to hold Brownski up, which is good news for those further down the order. It's good news for the likes of Yarny and Mick Macmock that have already done pit stops and are now just trying to survive on a different set of tyres. And what is Brownski going to do? Can he get a good enough exit out of the final corner? Again, Yavi runs wide. We've seen that from a lot of drivers today, and I think this is going to be the opportunity all the way around the outside in towards turn number 1. It's going to be a brave one from the Lego car. If he can get this one done on the brakes, round the outside he goes. Has he got the traction to do it? I think he might have done, you know. No, in the end, Yavi just manages to hold on to that one, but he's going to have the outside for the next braking zone at turn number 2 here. Down goes Brownski. Finally gets the move done. And that is the Renault. Well, that is one Renault ahead of another Renault for second and third place. He's not given this one up, though, as the Argentine at the moment. He is fighting for all it's worth. Who can blame him? But yeah, that battling definitely, you can see, cost 0.6 of a second compared to the previous lap for Brownski. And we now have a Lego 1-2. Solid Ninja Snake in the lead of this race, 11 seconds ahead of Brownski. Yavi third, Gr.4, fastest lap of the race. Last lap around on that set of the medium tyres, though, was LJM Stevo in the Jaguar. Those mediums working well on the Jag. He's got the fuel load about right as well. I think he's done the right thing of putting on a lighter fuel load now. It means a shorter pit stop now. It means less wear on the tyres now, but it does mean a longer stop later. But I'd rather have that, and he's clearly decided he would rather have that than putting a bit more fuel in, taking a longer pit stop, and then having a quick splash and dash later on. It's a good job he's going quick as well, because he would start to come under pressure from Sander Yarne, who I still worry about in this race. I still worry about because he... Yes, he'll have to put a bit more of a full tank in on this occasion, but I think he might even have to go to a set of hards again. And talking about hard tyres, we said it might be lap 22. We saw him coming into the pits. In the end, he was going for it a bit more towards the end. It is lap number 21. Into the pits then comes Solid Ninja Snake. Hard tyres going off. Medium tyres, I'm certain, will be going on. I think he'll be fueling this to do 8 laps on the mediums and then coming on the softs for the final few laps of the race, and he will be catching up like nothing you have ever seen before. He will be flying at the end. Quite a long pit stop. 2 minute 13 lap time. And there we go. Just over half a tank. Just over half a tank from Solid Ninja Snake. Is this an attempt to get 12 laps out of a set of the medium tyres? I wonder. Yavi into the pits as well. Wedgiebo and Bloody 9 getting all they can get out of the fuel tank of the Porsche. 21 laps. The most you're going to see out of then. And a half-second penalty for Wedgiebo. We've not seen too many penalties at the moment in this race. Everyone seems to have kept it fairly clean on the track limits, but Wedgie and B9 are into the pits, and I think they'll also be going on to a set of medium tyres, and I think we may also be seeing them coming into the pits multiple times. Well, one more time in this race, and Jamie, quite a dangerous pit exit here, was something that was noted in the stewards briefing. All the drivers are well aware that that pit exit isn't the nicest, does sort of feed you onto the racing line, and you can see how close things got there. Jamie, though, up into 9th place, B9 into 10th, Wedgie in 11th, Leader Reaper, Wedgie in 8th, I should say, Leader Reaper now in 11th place. Kingston still going around in 12th place, and he'll be forced to decelerate at the next penalty line, which we haven't spoken about at this circuit, but you can see where it is now. It is on the pit straight. I remember back in the days of GT Sport where the lobbies didn't have a penalty line, so it's glad to see that this feature was still carried over, and he was about to get lapped, but in the end that's not going to be the case, because Brownski's got an extra lap of fuel out of those tyres. He's got an extra lap of fuel out of his tank, I should say. He's got an extra lap of life out of the tyres, which was never really an issue. I feel you could do 66 laps on a set of hards around here, never mind the 33. Fuel going in, so this will drop him behind Steve-O and possibly behind Sandy Yarney as well. These two were fairly close earlier on, as were UXS Javi. So we'll see where Javi comes out relative to Brownski at the moment. Going on board with the Renault Megane, the orange and black one. There is Brownski. Javi's going to have the temperature in his tyres. And that was contact, and that is Brownski off the circuit. That is Brownski in the wall, and that is certainly going to be a steward's inquiry into that one. Brownski came out of the pit. You said this, it's a dangerous pit exit on this circuit, and whether Javi just took his chances with the ghosting system then, whether that was a bit of a late block from Brownski. Unfortunately, with the way things are working at the moment, I don't think we can really judge that one, but he won't be a happy chappy in that, because he's lost a good 10-15 seconds to where he would have been out on the circuit. That is Javi in 4th place, and I'm surprised he didn't get more damage in all of that one. So everyone has now done at least one pit stop. Still a few drivers yet to do their compulsory tyre choices. They haven't quite managed the 8 laps on each type of tyres. Ninja Stake in the lead of this race, 1.8 seconds behind him is Steve-O. Then it is Sandy Yarney, with Yarney being on the older tyres. He's got he's got to finish this lap, and then that will be it. He can pit on next lap if he wants to get rid of the set of mediums. I think he might be worth just stretching it out one more lap, though. I think it could be worth just stretching it out one more lap after lap 24, unless he does want to go for a set of hard tyres right towards the end of the race. But you can already see starting to suffer from the understeer. That is an all too familiar sight for every single driver. You want to ask about understeer. This man was leading the race at one point. Can still win the race. He's got the gap down to 28 seconds. So do not write Mick McBock off just yet. He's one of the few drivers in the field who does not have to come into the pits again. So do not write off for Pole City just yet. But Mick does have to come into the pits one more time. And, no, Mick doesn't, I should say. A lot of other drivers ahead of him do. Just whether he's managed to fuel right, which it looks like he has at the moment. Can't see him burning through a tank that much fuel in 10 laps. And managing the hard tyres is not really a thing. As we've spoken around all race, there's no such thing as hard tyre management on this game. On this track at the moment. Oh, yellow flag. Yellow flag. There's been a... Who is that for? Got a yellow flag out there on circuit. Didn't see any car facing in the wrong direction. I think... I can only presume it was Sandy Yarney, because he's travelling very, very slowly at the moment. Sandy Yarney making a mistake at the exit of the chicane. Possibly just getting a bit too hot on the end. But the Ferrari man now starting to come under some real pressure from Javi F behind him. I think Sander is going to have to come into the pits on this lap. The mediums are gone. The mediums are gone, and he's still going to have to put a bit of fuel in to get him towards the end of the race as well. That Ferrari is one thirsty machine at the moment. And we're going to see Yarney, I think, peel over to the right-hand side of the track. Needs to just be careful here because he's got Javi alongside him, so that's Javi making the move work. And Yarney decides he's going to try and stay and fight this one out. I'll be surprised if he's got the grip to go it on the brakes here in towards turn number 1. Javi on the inside, Yarney on the outside. Thinks about the switchback, thinks about all the way around the outside. gets himself out of the marbles. He's just not got any turning, not got any confidence in that car. SFDC into the pits again. So we said we were going to see 2 stop strategies. Here we go. He's getting rid of those hards. 9 laps on the set of mediums. Or will it be 9 laps on another set of hards for that Toyota? Just getting some fuel in at the moment. We'll see what he comes out on. And it is a set of mediums. So on a lighter fuel load, you might just be able to stretch that extra lap out, of course. But SFDC now comes out in 7th place. And alongside Wedgiebo, alongside Mick McMock even, he does not have to come into the pits once more. So we'll see what DC can do later on, because he was up and around the top 5. He was fighting for a podium place early on in this race, lest we forget. But does not seem to have gone to plan for him at this moment in time. We are now on to lap number 25 of this race. I'm impressed with how well Yarne's hold on this lap on the back of Yarvi. Now that we're coming through, as we mentioned, turn 10 onwards is where you really start to suffer with that front right tyre wearing out, and you can see just a perfect illustration of how difficult it is for different tyres around this circuit. That front left and that rear left really taking a hammering on Yarne's car. The front right tyre probably be able to keep on towards the end of the race if you wanted to, but there's been absolutely no need for doing that. So I think we'll be seeing the 458 Italia dive towards the right hand side of the circuit. Will we? No. Carrying out for one more lap. What is Yarne trying? What is Yarne trying to go for a set of softs at the end of this race? I'm not sure. Steve-O into the pits and medium tyres going on. Splash and dash for him. This will take him towards the end of the race. And it's the gap between him and Mick Mock. He's the real first one of the front runners that has come in for this strategy. So the gap between him and Mick Mock is going to be the one to see at the moment when he comes out of the pits. There we go. He's just going to drop behind Wedgiebo, who jumps ahead of him. 36.7 to the leader compared to 30.8. So he's 6 seconds off the back of the Mercedes. He has got much fresher tyres, and the mediums we know will last a bit better. So can Steve-O catch up to Mick McMock? I think we know the answer to that. It's yes. Can he catch up, pull far enough ahead that he stays ahead? We'll wait and see. That is going to be a 16-point question, I think, here in the first round of PSGL Tier 2. Hope you've all enjoyed it so far. Apologies for the issues earlier on. But we've had a fascinating race with all the different strategies that the drivers are going on. Steve-O started on the hards. He's now on his second set of mediums and will be taking these towards the end of the race. He's all over the back of Wedgiebo, who I think is trying to see if he can get his mediums to stretch right until the end. And if they don't, there will be soft tyres on the back of that Porsche for the end of this race. But down the inside then goes Steve-O up into 6th place, easy as you like. Nice and calm for the Jaguar. Steve-O takes 6th position for now. Jamie, he's going to have to come into the pit soon. That Jaguar has got no fuel and has got no tyres left. So we'll be seeing Jamie into the pits on this occasion. He'll be taking those next set of mediums, 7 tyres. And there comes Sander Yarne into the pits. And he's got himself a 2-second time penalty. He's been stretching it hard out on track, but he's going to have to serve that on the next lap, and that could be him waving goodbye to any chances of the podium in the Ferrari. The Dutchman, tyres on, new fuel going in, but that is a 2-second time penalty. And anyone who hasn't had a penalty on this game, they don't really cost you 2 seconds. That slowdown for 2 seconds costs you more like 3 or 4, but only has to be a short load of fuel. And there we go, on the exit of the pit lane, does get the slowdown. I suppose if you are going to do it, the lap you're coming out of the pits isn't a bad time to do it. And Sander Yarne comes out in 8th place, a long, long way behind Steve-O, as we expected. So the next one to watch is when Yarvi comes into the pits again, and also Solid Ninja Steak. Will we see? Will we see Solid come into the pits again? I think he's got enough fuel to get towards the end of the race. It all depends whether he wants to put on a set of softs for the final stint. What would you do in this situation, chat? Would you be coming into the pits? Or would you be trying, as you might, to stretch that set of medium tyres? Because it should be, as that is Kingston just having a bit of a wild crash in front of the cameras. It should be a very straightforward pit stop for Solid Ninja Snake. And I still think he's looking good as we come on to the final 6th lap of this race. I still think he's looking very good to start his title defence, as he kind of left off last season, with a victory. Yarvi in 2nd place at the moment, kind of driving around on his own. Brownski what could have been for him if it wasn't for the contact with Yarvi that led to the damage on the way into the pits. He's in 3rd place at the moment, but he's got Mick all over the back of him, and Mick will be very soon starting to go quick, and will be starting to close in on these drivers. Where is the Mercedes man who started on pole position, streaked away? Where is he going to finish in this race? We'll know in about 10 laps time. That is Kingston on his way out of the pitch. Great to see him carrying on as well. He's only a reserve driver. He's not going to get any points for this performance, barring any issues for any of the other drivers. But he's doing a good job at the moment, I think, is Kingston. Just carrying around, trying to get out of his way, as we were saying, trying to learn about the circuit. He's definitely doing a better job than I would be doing. There's a reason why I'm commentating and not racing out there tonight. Just trying to see where the battles are out on circuit at the moment, folks. It seems like we've got everyone stretched out, and we are just playing a bit of a waiting game. Sander Yarne has managed to work his way past bloody 9, so that is Sander up into 7th, and he's on for that fastest lap. And you will get a bonus point for that, so that might be the best a Dutchman's hoping for at the moment. Top 5 finish and a bonus point would not be bad whatsoever. Can he somehow? 5.5 laps to go. He's in 7th place. Can he get past 4 cars? Get himself onto the podium? We know, well, we're expecting. And I think that just confirms Wedgiebo will be having to come into the pits once more. Will not be surprised if it is this lap for the Porsche driver. Steve-O, he's carrying on to the end. Mick is carrying on to the end. Brownski, Yarvi and Ninja Steak could possibly carry on to the end. I think it's more likely that we'll see quick pit stops, soft tyres on, and those flying around for the final few laps of this race. A race which has sort of flown by at the moment. On-track action, there's been various different battles. It's just the intrigues and the interest we get between what everyone goes for and the different tactics, the different plans that everyone has. They'll have all practiced these. They'll all know what they're doing. Roundabout now. Let's not forget, these aren't rookies. There's a keep running off circuit, though. It's a bit of a rookie mistake for Sander Yarne. He'll have to serve that time penalty next time around. He's had a few of them now. I think we are starting to see, as they are pushing more, we are starting to see a few more of those penalties come in the end of 1:42.9 for Yarne on that lap. B9 in 8th place at the moment. We know he'll be coming in, but he'll be scoring some points here in T2. The driver who last season finished in 14th in the championship. 9th place was his best finish in any race last season, so he'll be delighted if he can get higher than that. Oh, Kingston's left the lobby, so he's out of this race. He won't be scoring. Well, we knew he wouldn't be scoring any points, but even if there are other retirements, he will not be scoring any. So Lee the Reaper, the sole man who is missing out at the moment, the sole man who is currently not on to score any points, which is, always do feel sort of sorry for the drivers in this situation, where there's only one driver who's not on to score any points. I always do feel a bit sorry for them, because there's, yeah, I feel like they put all in this effort for nothing, but I suppose, you know, rules are rules, can't just bend them because of how it's worked out with the driver numbers and everything. Mick Mark started to come under pressure then for LJM Steve-O. Mick has been on these tyres since lap 16 of this race. Steve-O has only been on them since lap number 25, and we said he would catch them up. He's done it about halfway through the stint. So that's a very wild line through the S's by the British driver. We'll see what the Jaguar can do. We'll see whether he can get close enough to have a move in towards turn number 1. Nice little exit there off the exit of that corner. Fastest lap of the race last time around. He's the only driver that we've seen get into the 141s in this race, Steve-O. He has been flying around this circuit. That's a bit deep from Mick. That's the door half open for the Jaguar of LJM Steve-O, but just decides on this occasion discretion is the better part of valor. Needs to get this move done as quickly as possible. Needs to get it done while his tyres are still fresh. Ideally in towards the next corner would be his plan, in towards turn number 4. Mick half driving in the middle of the circuit there just to try and defend as much as he can, all the way around the outside from Steve-O. We don't see too many moves like that and in towards turn number 4, and we're not going to see one like that on this occasion. So Steve-O stays in 5th place for now. He's been stuck behind for about half a lap, which is certainly not optimal. 6, 7 and 8, not an overtaking place until you're feeling really brave. And that Mercedes still having good traction, so Steve-O might just have to wait behind a tiny bit longer at the moment. And you can see 1.1 off his personal best. Is this costing Steve-O any chance at a podium? As we await to see what the leaders do. Ninja Steak on to lap number 31 on this race. this Renault is a very nice car on these tyres, and he's proving that at the moment. He is staying out there on the circuit. Yavi, will he come into the pits on this lap, or will he also stay out on the circuit and try to stretch those mediums towards the end? Because I think he's got enough of a gap to do it. I also think, if he's nice and careful, Brownski may still get a third position here. It might be close with him and Mick at the end of this race, but Brownski may still get a third position here with this strategy, despite that accident he had earlier on as Steve-O and Mick, almost both of them, going on the grass there, in towards the final corner. 3 laps to go. Steve-O's lost 2 seconds there from his personal best lap, which was only 2 laps ago. That is how tough he's finding it at the moment, stuck behind the back of Mick. He just can't get it done on this occasion. So for those who are just joining us towards the end of the stream, welcome along everyone. 3 laps to go in this race. It was the Mercedes man that is on your screen at the moment. Mick, who's just picked up a half-a-second penalty. Steve-O will probably be thinking, why couldn't you have picked that earlier up in this race? Because he's been stuck behind for the last lap and a half now, and he's really starting to hemorrhage some time to those drivers ahead of him. Got a bit closer on this occasion, but I think he's going to have to just yield. Can he go all the way around the outside into turn number 6? No, again. Decides that is not worth it. Mick led at the start of the race, did a fantastic job in qualifying on those medium tyres, but the stint just hasn't worked out for him. The double stop has not been kind to the Mercedes and to anyone who's really gone for the double stop. He's the highest car that's gone for 2 stops. Very briefly, nearly there, wasn't the highest car as Steve-O tried to move down the inside. But all these two are doing, all they're doing battling with each other, is holding them up and making it more likely that Brownski holds on to that final podium place. Further back, Widgebo starting to come under pressure now from Sandiani. The Ferrari was up towards the front early on. He got himself a 2-second time penalty and made a mistake coming out of the chicane halfway through this race. Could he have been involved in that podium battle? 49 in 8th place. DC12 was fighting at the first few stages as well. Just hasn't quite had the pace in that Toyota. Jamie in 10th and Lee the Reaper in that final points place at the moment. As you can see, Mick just slowing down there. So thank you very much, says Steve-O. He's got into 4th place. 2 laps to gain 6 seconds. It's a task. It is a real task, and I think if he'd got the move done on the first lap behind the back of Mick, so lap number 30, I feel like he might have had a chance at attacking Brownski. But now, 3 seconds he's got to try and gain in the next few laps. Brownski still sitting 143s, 144s. I don't think it is on. And I think we're seeing from everyone else here, maybe, just maybe, I should have put the Renault as the first choice. Maybe, just maybe, I'd be in a better situation in the race if I had done that. Sandiani has made his way past Widgebo then, so the Dutchman up in towards the top 6. And I think that is pretty much going to be it for the battles out on circuit. Everyone now just getting a bit more spaced out. Mick still doing a good job, to be fair, on the back of Steve-O. So maybe this should be one that we do watch towards the end of the race. Mick is staying in contact with that Jaguar, and we know that Mercedes has got some straight line speed. So turn number 1 might be fun on this final lap of the race. And talking of the final lap, Solid Ninja Steak will be starting it in about 15 seconds time. But our pole sitter, you can't say it's a bad race. You can't say a bad race. I think given the car, given the strategy, 4th place would be as well as he could have hoped for. But you never, when you're starting from pole position, there is only one thing on your mind, and that is the victory. You never expect to be spending your final few moments of the race fighting, you never expect to spend the final few moments of the race fighting for, well, I thought Mick had nearly lost the car. You never expect to be fighting it for 4th place, and I think that little mistake might just be the end of his opportunity to fight for 4th place. But still a long championship, still plenty of time for things to change in this championship, still plenty of time for things to change in this race. We've seen drivers make mistakes beforehand, but it's been a very clean and a very solid and a very good management performance from Solid Ninja Snake. It is quite a long race. You can see the timer in the bottom left hand corner. Then we are approaching just over 57 minutes. It'll be about 57.5 minutes by the time Ninja Snake crosses the line. Ever since Mick came in for his first pit stop, Solid he's been solid. He has done everything right. He took the championship last season by winning 3 out of the 6 races. That included the final 2 of last season. He is going to make it 3 in a row, and he is putting a marker down for the rest of the field into Tier 2 tier on Gran Turismo. Solid Ninja Stake rounds the final corner. It is a victory for Ninja Stake. It is going to be a very distant second place then for Yavi, as Steve-O and Mick are still having their own ding-dong towards the end. So we are going to keep an eye on this one. Can Mick somehow get himself up into 4th place on the final lap of the race? They're both starting to run out of fuel. It is going to be Yavi who crosses the line in 2nd. It is going to be Brownski who finishes in 3rd place. Trying to get a better cutback here, and that might be the tactic. That just works. Has the Mercedes driver got the traction? You can see the smoke coming out from that front left-hand tyre. Who's going to win the drag race here? It is going to be Steve-O, who holds on to 4th place. 0.2 of a second, separated 2 drivers after 33 laps. Isn't bad whatsoever. It will be Sander Yarne who comes home in 6th place. Wedgiebo 7th, Bloody 9 in 8th place. SFDC in 9th, Jamie in 10th, Lee the Reaper picking up our final points finish. But I think everyone is going to be talking about that performance from Solid Ninja Stake. What a drive today. Did not know whether that was going to be the way things were going to work at the start of the day. He was the fastest qualifier on a set of the hard tyres. Maybe, just maybe, at a pace that no one else could match for. Maybe, if other drivers had thought about doing the one-stop strategy, that would have been the way. But I don't think any other car really could have made the mediums last long enough to make that a feasible one to work. As you can see, every Renault in the race, apart from Diogo, who had to retire early on with technical issues, every single Renault in the race there we've got on the podium. Solid Ninja Stake taking the victory. Yavi in 2nd, Brownski in 3rd, Steve-O and Mick, as we said, providing that fantastic battle towards the end. And we have had all of the finishers in that one, so we will quickly, if we could try and remember how to get the race results up, because I did know that. That used to be a thing, and I think, again, that is a feature that they have unfortunately taken off at the moment. So, we'll go for the results on screen right here in front of you now. Solid Ninja Stake taking the victory. Yavi in 2nd, Brownski in 3rd, Steve-O just beating Mick McBock into 4th place. Sander Yarne in 6th after a few mistakes earlier on. Wedgie and Bloody 9, very consistent, very calm performances for them as they finish in 7th and 8th. DC was 9th, Jamie gets the final point, Lee the Reaper in 11th. Our retirements were Kingston, Diogo, and right at the start of this race, we saw, I believe it was Yentan retiring at the start of that one. So that was our first GT race. We are going to see if we can get some of our top drivers in. We're going to see if we can get some of our top drivers in for some interviews at the moment. Would be great to hear what they thought. Also, it'd be great to hear whether the 2-stop was ever a consideration, because I did wonder whether the tyre life was going to be enough for these drivers. As we'll wait and see if any of those want to join us. Let us know in the chat if you are interested in asking them any questions as well. Quite an intriguing race, as we've said. I think we get that more on these GT races. We spoke about that quite a bit throughout the stream. You do get these more battles that are going on. As you can see, the calendar for the rest of the season briefly popping up on screen there. We'll get it up again now just to talk about what's going on. United States next time out. That is going to be Watkins Glen International for round number 2. Croatia, Dragon Trail Gardens. Not as popular, and in my opinion, as not as popular in my opinion as the Seaside one, but I know it is one that can certainly, that sort of awkward 2 90-degree left-hand corners in a row towards the end of the lap, or towards the beginning of the lap, depending on which configuration you're on, can always cause issues. Lago Maggiore always a favourite. Austria, very short track. One of the few real tracks we've got on this game, alongside Watkins Glen, Red Bull Ring, and the Brands Hatch Raceway. And as we mentioned, Deep Forest, Autopolis for another real track, of course, Brands Hatch, and Trail Mountain. That will be running in this one. We will just wait another few moments to see if we get anyone joining us for interviews before we call it a day on this stream. A race where we saw, really, Solid Ninja Stake never looked like it was going to be in too much doubt there. We're just hearing there was a false start in that one as well from Yavi, which certainly I think was less than ideal for... No, not for Yavi, sorry. A false start from Steve-O. Less than ideal for him, because he didn't look like he had the pace. Could he Could he have got himself into second place? I think he admitted himself getting a victory was probably a bit too much of an impossibility in that situation, but you never know. You never know whether second place could have been, you never know whether we would have seen him getting himself up in towards second. I haven't seen, does it look like anyone is popping it in towards the interviews here? I am 100% sure that they can see that that interview box. But it looks like we're going to have to call it a day, folks. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us with the stream. Apologies for the slight issues with the game earlier on. In the end, though, dominant performance from Solid Ninja Snake. He takes the lead of the championship in towards next week. Will Yavi and Brownski be able to challenge him? Will Mick be up there again around the Watkins Glen International Circuit? But for myself, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to keep an eye on what happened in Tier 1. Catch that stream on the replay on YouTube as well. And then starting tomorrow, we're back in Japan for PC F1 on the PSGL Season 31 with Suzuka. So for myself, Luke Etheridge, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.